Hey everyone, this is Erkan Sütçüler on the other side of the webinar room. I'm very excited today, probably even more excited than you are. Of course, this is very long preparation work we do here. Sending the invitation, creating the presentation, handling different scenarios in between. Giving all the questions and remarks and supporting you in this journey is not easy and straightforward work. And there is a team to do behind all this. And you just see the tip of iceberg today, and I really hope that you will enjoy this presentation quite a lot, and this will create you the groundwork to get you started with your DevOps initiative, whatever your goal is. So great. Would you mind telling me from where you are joining today? I'm basically in Switzerland in the moment. It's like a town called Wollerau, like 20 kilometers southern from Zurich city. So it's really, I live somewhere, in the sea level, but here is like a mountainish area, and therefore here it's always a little bit lighter, although it's not sunny. There is still a lot of light coming from outside. Also, this light reflects from snow, etc. So it's not really bad actually being here today. Better than my own apartment. Okay, we have a very international group, Sruti from India, Rudan from Rabat, Ivan from Serbia, Pat from States, and Abdesamet from Casablanca, Shankar from Singapore, Imran from Sri Lanka, Gaurav from India, Mehri from Canada, and Ray from Philippines, Ian, Germany, Olive, Canada, Vishant, India, Robert from England, and Victor from Paris, and Mary from Canada, and Braja from New Zealand, and Bangalore, Mohan, Jagadish, India, Raul, India, and Anil joining from Hyderabad, India, and Trezor from Congo, Kinshasa, and Benzon from Nairobi, Magdalena also from Germany as well, Opemi, Dallas, and Leandro from Portugal, and Nabil from India. It's, I think, we are scattered, all around the globe. I was a little bit worried that because I do this, session almost, mid lunch in European time, Central European time, but it looks like, we still managed to cover all continents. That's really great. So at the end of this live class, just for attending today, I will answer your questions live in everything about the subject matter expertise we are going to cover today, plus any potential questions about our training programs or certification programs if you want to. And net worth of these bonuses are like $946, which is almost as expensive as a new model iPhone. My iPhone is not a new model, but I think new models must be costing like this expensive. But I can of course we are not going to give you an iPhone, but what I can confirm that the bonuses that you are going to get today will enable you to buy multiple iPhones. With this know-how, you will be able to get promotions, find far more better jobs, get basically the responsibility of leading a team, and in the next job interview you will have a better chance to sell yourself. When you talk to your boss, you will be understanding where the IT industry is going, and in a minute I will also tell you why DevOps will be dominating the world in few years. Whatever Scrum is today, and I'm sure most of you must be familiar with Scrum framework. What Scrum is today, will be DevOps in few years. And I will also tell you why it is going to happen like that. I will explain you the core reasons why Scrum will be replaced by DevOps. And again, these bonuses will help you perfectly learn DevOps and differentiate you from the rest of your peer group, and in the end they will skyrocket you in your own career journey. So Ralph from London as well, Adrian, Romania, Tushar from India as well. Great. Welcome everyone again. And I know that there are a lot of distractions all around us, the handies, the wife or child or husband, if you call it, and the Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn, all these notifications and everything. I really suggest you to suppress all this voice and distractions for like, I think the session will take like about 90 minutes. Suppress all this, distractions which are all around you, and try to focus to this session, and make a commitment to stay focused. And in the end, I promise that the know-how that you are going to get today will really help you a lot. And hi, Sravan. I'm also happy that you are here with us today, Sravan. Great. Very little bit information about myself. Today's session is not my personal presentation to explain you who I am, but just to give an idea about who I am, because we are going to spend like 90 minutes together. My name is Erkan Söççüler. I studied control and computer engineering. Control engineering means kind of robotics, a branch of robotics somewhere between electronics, electric, and software engineering to build intelligent machines. But when I studied this was like back to 1997, and at that years robotics and control engineering was not as popular as it is today, and therefore I decided to make my career in software engineering, and I made then my master's again in computer science, and then I started in software industry. I used to be a tester, a developer, and an architect, and recently I was working for Accenture Switzerland, and I was leading their digital delivery workforce in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. I've been leading the digital transformation projects, and also the process transformation projects into Agile, into Scrum, into DevOps, etc. And last few years I've been building and leading my own e-learning companies. They are doing very well in the moment. We have a huge followership in the world. We sold our programs and training programs hundreds of thousands of times. The reason is our differentiating business model. As you see, we didn't ask you to pay anything or to make a commitment to continue work with us, but we still spend our time to share you as good as we can. And in the end, this is what differentiated us from the rest of the competitors, which always get your money, ask the renewals of the certification, and keeps you engaged and in the loop to get the people of students, to get the money of the students. And we are not one of these organizations, and we differentiated by being the peer, the right hand person, the right hand supporter of Agile and DevOps communities, including Six Sigma and project management, software testing, and International Scrum Institute. You must be familiar about this, and now International DevOps Academy during the last few years, and all these companies doing great work serving the community. And today I will also I'm also sure that you will enjoy what you will see here, and in the end hopefully you will be joining one of our accomplished students as well. That's great. So I think I already covered this question. My purpose is also not to do a one-way communication all the time. I want to also divert my course a little bit based on what I hear from you, and therefore it's great that we discuss in the beginning what you expect. I think main questions are like you want to get started with DevOps. So either you are coming from a technical background or non-technical background, and you want to basically understand how you can set the groundwork for you to get started. And this is obviously one of the things we are going to cover. And then there was a question from a non-technical person, how I can get started with DevOps. I mean, DevOps is not a developer work. If you think that you must be a coder or a tester or kind of architect or operations guy or operating system expert or database expert or security expert, no, you don't have to be one. So basically, DevOps in the end, I will tell you in a minute. DevOps in the end is a process. It's the underlying principles and process to develop and deliver software. And then this process, such a process, does not only require high-level technical people, but also people who manage the projects, who manages the products, and who basically leads them. We also have a program called Certified DevOps Executive Program, and these executives also should understand how a DevOps team should function, what DevOps is, and then they need to drive their teams to the correct direction, or set the correct tone of mission and vision, so that the DevOps initiative will be a success in their organizations. And obviously, you don't have to be a tech person to get started with DevOps. Great. Today, you will learn what DevOps is and how DevOps helps, hundreds of thousands of software professionals and also tens of thousands of companies around the world, and how it can help and your organization too. And we built our DevOps programs for you based on years of failures and successes we experienced on our own, careers, on our own, education and training experiences, and also we observed from the other companies and people. And we will also share our experiences with you, and we will give you all of our premium training contents, no strings attached, and they are completely free of charge for you. And we spend significant amount of time and monetary investment for these training contents, and yet we have no say into what you do with them, and that's absolutely on you. But still, before we move on, I need a commitment from you, ladies and gentlemen, a commitment that you will use the contents that we are going to share with you to improve your skills, so you better serve your employers and our clients, and you build great software everyone will love. And do we have a deal about this? And later I will also show you how you can get started your DevOps programs and take advantage of your amazing bonuses. And these bonuses are exclusive to today's participants, and they're only available today, only at this day of presentation. Great. I want to basically a little bit cover, first of all, before we deep dive the details of the process, I want to basically tell, what DevOps isn't, because there is if you may have seen in the introductory video lesson that we conducted, there is a big misunderstanding going on in the industry about what DevOps is, because the reason is, most of the, continuous software integration vendors, operating system vendors or cloud provider vendors, started putting the keyword, the famous keyword DevOps in the name of their products or packages, and then they started selling, oh, this is my cloud DevOps, this is my DB DevOps, this is my continuous integration DevOps, and then people started questioning what is really DevOps, because wherever the direction I see, I see a product with DevOps, and then where I should get started. Should I start from the cloud computing, or should I start from the operating system, or should I directly jump into the code and build a continuous integration platform and then hope that I will be correctly doing DevOps? And in the end, I noticed that I should really tell what DevOps isn't, before I deep dive what DevOps is. And in summary, DevOps is not a cloud infrastructure platform, but cloud infrastructure platforms will enable us to implement the full automated pipeline. But it's not only, it's even not the core requirement having a cloud infrastructure platform. You can do everything you want to do with DevOps in your on-premise, hardware. That's also no-brainer. But cloud infrastructure platform will bring some benefits that I will tell you in the next minutes. And DevOps is not an operating system, although some operating system vendors started, initiating DevOps training and certification programs. What they train and sell is their own, operating system. Don't be trapped with the keyword of vendors that they claim that they are teaching you in DevOps. No, they are not teaching you in DevOps. They are basically certifying you in their own, hardware or software to be able to lock you in their own business model. And therefore, be careful if you consider looking at the products of vendors. Make sure that you can get out of this product as quick as you can. If you choose a software, the number one criteria you should look at is not how much the software will help you, but how quickly you can replace the software with something else. And if the answer is not easy, then you should be careful to give your decisions once you choose a software package. And the third point is, as I said, the DevOps is not obviously a software tool or components, but there are tools and components which will help you to implement your DevOps initiative. And DevOps is not a build or delivery software by itself, but it's the process itself, the build and delivery methodology that you are going to build is the part of your DevOps initiative. And DevOps is not only a combined team of software development and software operations professionals. This is kind of, again, a misunderstanding, because DevOps word is, constructed by using the dev of developers and operations, ops of operations, and therefore people think, okay, let's bring the teams together and then let's call it DevOps. No, unfortunately, it's not as easy as that as well. So what DevOps is then? So DevOps is basically the process and underlying philosophy. So let me tell it again. So underline, bold, process and principles and underlying philosophy. Let me tell it again because this is the most important thing you need to understand. DevOps is not a product. DevOps is not a software tool. DevOps is the process, principles, and underlying philosophy. Bold, underline. Do you want me to tell you one more time? Process, principles, and underlying philosophy. So this is what DevOps is. Okay, so don't say anymore DevOps is the continuous integration or the operating system or the cloud computing provider. No, DevOps is process, principles, and underlying philosophy. After saying 5 times probably, then I think you know what DevOps is. Great. DevOps is the harmonization of proven and successful and industry-agnostic production and service processes and their adaptation to software industry. So what we mean is with industry-agnostic is, they are industry-independent. They are coming from, let's say, manufacturing or production of, let's say, healthcare or electronics or automobile. All these processes and, standard operating procedures from these industries, some of them, differentiated themselves from the rest of the other processes and they proven to be successful. And how DevOps emerged is, after the combination of, best practice, processes and, standard operating procedures and as well as the principles and underlying philosophies, and after their adaptation to the software industry, we ended up with a process and we call it with DevOps. And to be able to also understand also the definition of DevOps, why we call this and process, principles and underlying philosophy, then the next question must be on your side is, then what are these processes, what are these principles, and what are these underlying philosophies? And the next part of the presentation is going to cover this part. What are the things that build the DevOps? Because before you understand this, underlying principles, you are not going to implement DevOps. You are not able to sell yourself as a DevOps expert, or you can't basically differentiate yourself from another programmer or tester who simply bought a tool and then learned about this and then call himself a DevOps engineer. No, this is not the DevOps engineering. DevOps engineering starts from understanding the process. Then you'll be able to create the utmost value in your organization for your clients or employers and the complete the economical value chain. And this is the understanding of DevOps starts from understanding the underlying philosophies behind it. And these are mainly lean movement, the first one. I'm not going to cover the old principles. They are basically covered in great detail in our book, but I'm going to tell you, probably 1 or 2 the most important pieces, what made DevOps movement, important, and then therefore it was, embraced a part of the DevOps process. So principle 1 is the most important one. You see the whole and you create customer value with systems thinking. So what does this mean? What does, seeing the whole means? So let's say, you can be a developer, you can be a tester, you can be a project manager, you can be a product owner, you can be InfoSec engineer, information security engineer, you can be a database admin, you can be a network security admin, you can be a network admin, you can be, I don't know, leader or senior executive, whatever you are, whatever your role is, okay? Whatever your paycheck, whatever your grade is, this doesn't matter, okay? But in a DevOps organization, everyone has to see the whole, everyone has to see, the contribution of their work to the whole, value chain. If I basically, type a piece of code here, and then how does this code impact the whole value chain? How does my customer will benefit from this piece of code I just implemented, and then in the end my company, creates value for this customers or clients or employees, whatever you call them, and then in the end I get also awarded with my contribution to this value chain. This is the point of view that everyone, either engineer or not engineer or tech or non-tech, everyone in a DevOps organization has to have this understanding. They need to see the whole and they need to create, customer value with systems thinking. This is the priority in every decision. Every moment, a good engineer, a good professional, must have a question in his mind, and this question is this: if I am doing the correct thing at the moment, if I am investing my time, or if I am doing the correct thing to contribute my organization, to create value for our customers, and to make money, because in the end all organizations' goal is to make money, right? And therefore the easiest way to make money is to create value for your customers. And then therefore, regardless what your role is, you need to ask, how I can create value. If the thing that I'm going to do will simply a waste of time, or it will help anyone. As long as you have this, question in your mind, and as long as you strive to build the answer for that question, then you are going to be, ready to start your DevOps initiative quite easily. And then the rest one, principle 2 is very important as well. You build the quality in, you create flow and pull. This is quite a lot of complementary with principle 1. You build the quality in, as your goal is, to create value in every work you do. You don't expect that a quality assurance team or, user acceptance team or, integration team or test automation engineers will validate the quality of the software you are building or the quality of the work, whatever you do. Somebody else will validate the quality. No, guys, this is no go. This is if you want to get started, you need to make sure that you own your own work. You own basically the quality responsibility of your own work, and everyone in your team, if you're a hiring manager in this responsibility, make sure that you are going to handpick people who are going to own their own responsibility, not the ones you need to babysit all the time. You need to build a team of professionals, because when we hire people, we focus a lot of aspects. Okay, if this person will fit, or if they will be happy. No, guys, this is a professional organization. In every professional organization, the goal is to make money. And I am telling again, the easiest way to earn money is to create value for customers. And as long as you do this, then they will award you with their money and then purchase your service or products, whatever you do. And then to do this, you basically need to create the quality in. Instead of push means, Gregory, the idea here is, you don't basically open someone a ticket. You don't basically open someone a ticket and then wait 2 weeks until someone processes your work. Imagine this as a factory line, and instead of giving the work for someone else is already maintaining your queue of work, and they already pull the work from you, and then they do the work and someone else pulls from them. This is the continuity of the pipeline, and this continuity of pipeline is expressed with the flow concept. And in flow there is no place for push. It must be pulled for someone else, and the push is part of corporations that basically vest their own and their investors' money. But in real productive organizations, there is a pull concept. The next person in the value chain pulls the work and implements this. I hope this clarified your question. And then the next one is continuous delivery. In continuous delivery, we focus, a lot, about again the software tools and everything. But in the end, most people, forget about why we have the continuous delivery in the first place. Let me, tell you, why I believe this, underlying philosophy of continuous delivery movement is quite important. In the last years of my corporate job, we had been working with different teams, and I've been working in a very complex, corporate environment, also politically very complex. And there are teams like at that times they have been using the Agile Scrum framework with continuous delivery, and whenever we ask a report from some other teams that we are dependent on, guys, you do continuous deployment, right? You must be have a report or something. You can show us where you are in that moment, because you are doing continuous delivery and you must be creating daily reports. And the answer is like, oh, we have our sprint review meeting couple of weeks later, and then we will fine-tune our presentation and report, and then you will see where we are 3 weeks later. What? This must be a joke. I mean, I think this is a joke, because if you do a continuous delivery and then you say I will give a report of my status in 3 weeks, I am sorry, but nothing against taxi drivers, but you must be doing a taxi driver work and leave the IT industry completely, because continuous delivery has a mission, and this mission can be summarized in 3 folds. And these are, first of all, the visibility, and you make all aspects of your delivery system, including whole pipeline, whole software engineering process, including the conception, design, building, deploying, testing, and releasing, to everyone in your organization. So this is the visibility. You make the pipeline visible. Everyone can understand every moment. They can see where you are going, and the feedback. What are the problems? What is going on? You checked in something, it's broken. It must be you need to enable the continuous feedback loop to your team, and therefore they need to find out what is going on. In traditional organizations, especially it's a little bit funny, but most Scrum organizations today work like that. They build something, without built-in quality, and they send it to the quality assurance team, and quality assurance team gives the feedback. Oh, this is not working. They even don't open a bug. They even can't test it because it's simply not working. You can't even open the application, and then you send it back to the development team, and then they do something. Oh, okay, there is a small mistake here. They fix it and they send it back. Oh, it doesn't work again. Come on, guys. And then it comes back to the development team, and then they try to fix it again. This loop goes and goes on, and then everyone is quite tired. No morale, and then everyone start updating the CVs with their success stories. Artificial success stories in their companies, and then how the story ends. You end up in a new job or unemployment if you are unlucky. And but with feedback, what we are talking, not the feedback between tester and developer. We are talking the feedback that you enable with the continuous delivery. You basically get feedback from a machine, from the built-in test case that you are going to do. Some call this test-driven development. You can also call this like that. It doesn't matter what you call, but what you need to understand is while you are developing, you need to build a feedback mechanism. You need to basically, once you check in a code, the checked-in code should be merged to your product or component or API, whatever you are building in that given moment, and then this has to be executed against a predefined set of test cases, and then you immediately get feedback. In few minutes, the most critical test case must be run in the very, very beginning, and then you get a feedback. Oh, you broke the system. Then it's your number one priority. In the moment, you ask the question, oh, what I should do to create value for my company? The answer is clear. You broke the software of your company. You need to fix it, right? And then you fix it, and then you continue doing whatever you are doing. This feedback loop is the mission 2 of continuous delivery. Is also something which is totally ununderstood in IT industry. Nobody cares about this. We all talk about Hudson, Jenkins, but why we do this? Unless you don't understand why you do this, it's no point of doing this, because you don't learn a foreign language and then learn the words of the foreign language, right? You learn, how to build a structure, how to build a sentence, how to express your opinion, how to, make a conversation, how to how to create meaningful relationships with your friends or partners or whatever. And, it's IT is not different. You can't, be a DevOps organization by purchasing a cloud provider which says we do DevOps, or by purchasing a, Hudson or Jenkins or blah blah software and then say, oh, I am DevOps. No, you need to understand the structure. You need to understand how you build your sentence to begin with. And then the mission 3 is continuous deployment. This is basically, here is a good point to tell you maybe why Scrum, failed in many organizations. Basically, Scrum is not a bad process. The bad part is the organizations which didn't understand Scrum and then jumped onto it. With Scrum, what happened is, with Scrum theory, the problem is, in the end of each sprint, there is basically no force to deploy the software to the production systems. In the end, what companies started doing is they did either 2 weekly or 3 weekly sprints, and then they built something in the end of each sprint, and they called this shippable product. But unfortunately they didn't ship the product, and then they start accumulating the software, the finished software in the end of each sprint, like 4 or 5, or even I know companies which uses 2 weekly sprints but do production deployment in every 6 months. This is not a joke. A major Swiss telecommunication company works exactly like that, and they accumulate the code after each sprint in a staging server for 6 months without doing any validation on it, and then they do big bangs, and then what happens is it's fall apart, and then you can imagine fire animations here. And then of course, if you do Scrum in that way, the executives will say, okay guys, why are you doing the Scrum? With waterfall, you used to have less meetings and then still the same amount of complications, and therefore let's reduce the amount of meetings you invest in the Scrum meetings and then turn back to the waterfall. At least you seem to be more productive while you do waterfall. You are in your cave and you are working, not in all the time in your meetings. And DevOps basically differentiates itself in that aspect quite clearly to the standard agile frameworks. With DevOps, in the end of each sprint, you must be deploying something to your production. So I'm repeating this again. In DevOps, in the end of each sprint, something has to go to production. This code, must be can be a dormant code. I'm fine with that. The DevOps theory is fine with that, because sometimes, your feature may not come to a shape that can be, demonstrated or that can be served to your customer in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. That's totally fine. But then you engineer mechanisms which, integrate this code to your production systems. Let's say you keep on integrating this for 3, 4, 5, 6 sprints, and then you switch on the feature. And then when you switch on the feature, you at least, make sure that the code didn't break anything in your existing functionality. Still, there may be issues, because if you keep on deploying the dormant code for 5 sprints, and when you switch it on, there may be chances that you may be integration issues in production. That's fine. Then you can switch it off and then fix the problems and keep on going. But at least by not doing big bang, you avoid breaking up your production system. You avoid getting harsh emails from your board of directors, or you avoid losing your job if you're a managing software engineer or managing tester. At least you preserve the quality in your systems. So this is basically continuous deployment to production system. This is a major advantage that DevOps differentiates itself from other processes. And the next one is Toyota Improvement Kata. It's quite self-explanatory what Toyota Improvement Kata is. I think it's quite also in parallel to what I've been explaining since the beginning of this meeting. With Toyota Improvement Kata, you basically don't become a person who knows all the answers. You don't pretend like you have all the answers to save the world, to make a great, brilliant IT company, but you know that something has to be improved. Either your software sucks, your system, your team sucks, or something is broken, you have a lot of technical debt, or you need to develop a new version of your software just because the old version of the software is no longer maintainable. I think this also pretty much most companies' problem nowadays, because of the emerging new technologies. And there is a problem, but you don't pretend to have a solution. And then what you are trying to understand is you grasp the current condition and you find the next best action. Again, think about what I just told you. As an engineer, or as a person, as an employee who works for a company which tries to earn money, your best course of action to help your companies to create value for your employer or for your clients. And now you ask the question, what I need to do at the moment? And now you answer the question, and now you make a progress, and then you review what you have done, and then you come back. This is exactly how agile concepts, how agile engineering processes, which includes extreme programming or Scrum or any adaptation of agile, has been inherited from the Toyota Improvement Kata. It's not really something new that Jeff Sutherland or Ken Schwaber introduced. These processes, Toyota Improvement Kata has been all around 45 to 50 years, and then all these concepts have been step by step adapted to the software engineering world. And then theory of constraints. With theory of constraints, again, here there is a big problem. With theory of constraints, there is always a dilemma between different units in organizations. In software organizations, dilemma is most probably either between operations and engineering team, and or between development and operations teams. And the development and operations teams dilemma is quite clear. Engineers, try to build something quite quickly and then put it on production as quick as they can. But on the other hand, operation guys must ensure that they don't break the production systems with the code or with the system coming from the development teams. And therefore, they say developers, oh guys, slow down, let's take one step at a time, let's don't break the production systems. Whereas developers, oh no, we are under the pressure of business, we need to get it done, we need to deploy it. And now, all this pressure, makes everything, more bureaucratic, more complex, you spend time, you don't enjoy your job, you start updating your CV, etc. And now, to avoid this, you basically start seeing your projects as part of duty to create added value, end-to-end added value. Instead of seeing a project that you collect one person over there and do a work and then deliver this, you see the project as the essence of your organizations. Even don't call this project anymore, call it a product. Collect your teams around your products, and then make a team of engineers or business experts or security experts or project managers, product owners, security experts, tester, developers, build a product team from them and try to make sure that this team sticks together to do the job, and therefore instead of conflicting, they basically will be helping each other, during the whole course of engineering life cycle. And then to do this, you basically need to see your teams as intelligent units with mission. Just I told you, as an employee or as an engineer, you need to have a mission, right? Your mission is create value for your customer, so and company, so your company and you earn money, right? And the team also should have the same mission. Again, the planning meetings, sprint planning meetings, review meetings, or retrospective meetings. Number one question that must be answered in all these meetings is how we create value as a team. And then the team answers this question, and then as an engineer or as an employee, you answer this question in your own way, and then you basically do your duty to contribute your team and your organization. And basically, you reduce the batch size. To be able to do this, you reduce the batch size. Yes, Ray, you are on the correct direction. I agree with you. And this is, by the way, reducing the batch size. Again, instead of making the whole chunk of big bang, you create a reduced batch size, and then you also reduce the lead time. Again, you make sure that, or you at least do your best to make sure that in every 2 weeks you'll be able to deploy something to production. And the only way to do this is to reduce the lead time and to reduce the batch size. And this gives you a number of advantages compared to the companies who do big bangs with long lead times and long batch sizes. The first advantage is very obvious. You are not going to break your production quite easily because the things are still under control at some degree. So you can still roll back, you can still fix even maybe quick fix on production systems or pre-production systems, and you can reduce the big flames in your production systems. This is the number one advantage. Second one is I think in today's age where we are coming close to 2020, I don't think any project should be developed for 6 months before it's presented to the buyers or to its consumers. It can be total waste of time. And instead of doing this, you should be come with a prototype or with a minor version 0.1 or something in as quick as time as is possible, and then get feedback from your consumers. And because of this, you need to reduce the batch size, and you also need to reduce the lead time. And you basically with this and in combination with feedback loops that I just mentioned while I talked about continuous delivery movement, then you will have an engineering team, you will have an engineering workforce which basically eliminate or reduces the risks that break the production, creates more value for the customers because they ensure that they build the correct product, and with the feedback loops you keep the morale in your teams high, right? You don't ping pong between testers and developers with non-working or broken software. You basically interact with the machine to make sure that if you broke a software as a developer, then the machine gives you the feedback, and now you broke the software. Sorry, if you're a developer, your responsibility is to fix the broken code as quick as you can so the rest of your team can continue doing their work. Okay, Agile Manifesto, you're already very familiar with this. Individuals and interactions, working software, customer collaboration, and responding to change are basically the key things in Agile Manifesto. Agile Manifesto says a little bit more than this, but these are the main concepts which are very well known, and also these are still in the DNA of DevOps process as well. And Agile Infrastructure is also, the reason that I wanted to talk about Agile Infrastructure a little bit is, again, it has been quite a lot of confused with DevOps. People started thinking Agile Infrastructure or so-called IAC, Infrastructure as Code, is synonym of DevOps. It's not true, but Agile Infrastructure is again another piece that you can implement in your DevOps initiative, but again it's not a must-have thing, but it's nice to have thing. Most probably you will need this, but in the end don't think that Agile Infrastructure or Infrastructure as Code is the synonym of DevOps. And here with Agile Infrastructure you will have a number of benefits, such as you don't need to buy expensive hardware, you don't need to buy software operating system licenses, because most cloud providers will even provide you the licenses of the on-demand month license of the software that you need to run, and you pay for what you use with transparent and simple pricing. It's not always true. Some vendors offer good pricing. For instance, I like Google Cloud Platform, far more transparent and understandable pricing, and their business model is not to lock you in various different APIs. But Amazon, be quite careful while you use Amazon Web Services, because their pricing is quite complex to understand. And if you are a fan of Amazon, what you need to also understand is Amazon offers like hundreds of web services. And do you know why they built the web services? Do you have an idea why Amazon built so many web services? The number one reason is Amazon basically tries to lock you in their environment. If you build let's say they offer a queue service, right? If you use their queue service to build your software instead of building your own queue, then you are forever stuck with Amazon. Then it's not so easy to get out of it, to move to another queue software vendor, or to build your own queue, because you already have a running production system in Amazon's queue, and these queues are mainly in the core of applications, and therefore you can't easily move somewhere else. And be careful, be as an engineer or as a project manager or as a product owner, whatever your role is in your organization, be very careful once you buy software. And don't forget that these are businesses. Software, vendors' business model is to lock in their customers. It's same for operating systems. This is basically the purest explanation why Microsoft or Bill Gates is the richest person in the world, because he built the most famous lock-in business model. Once you start using and learning Microsoft operating system, you are not so easy to move to another operating system. Imagine companies, a company that are using hundred thousands of Microsoft operating system. How they can switch to something else, right? They are locked in, and therefore be very careful, when you purchase a software to yourself. And again, software cloud operating system vendors is no longer an exception. You also need to be careful once you choose the software for your DevOps initiative. This is why I am emphasizing, 100 times, you need to understand what DevOps is, how it works, what it brings to you before you jump on, Red Hat, Amazon or Jenkins or Hudson. You need to first, see the big picture, and then the rest of the pieces will be quite easier for you to build, and you will have a better understanding what you are doing instead of jumping, on tool XYZ. And driver 2 is, you can quickly provision or scale up or down. Obviously, this is the very well-known benefit of cloud. And you have architectural flexibility. You can easily expand other geographies, given that your cloud provider does also support multiple geographies, multiple continents. For instance, if you have customers in European Union, you are responsible for putting their data in European citizen. Again, just before 2020, European Union authorities do not want to put their data, the data of European citizens, outside European Union. So they must be somewhere in European Union. It can be also, South Cyprus, but still it must be somehow related to the European Union. Otherwise, you're in trouble. There are these sort of things that you need to be careful also if you use a cloud computing provider. Where the data locates must also fit to the legislation of your organization. These sort of things are also important once you choose a software vendor for you, especially which will keep you and your customers' data. And driver 5 is they hopefully have better security. I think in that one we are quite well covered. They seem to have good security, and you stay compliant without audits and additional costs. Here the idea is, let's say if you run an organization which collect payments, online transactions and etc. There are again some legislations that you and your organization needs to be compliant to do online transactions. And if your cloud provider is already compliant with this security aspects and compliance aspects, then you are again covered. Again, these are some of the items once you choose your infrastructure as code platform. It's not only what's hype in the industry. You need to understand your own circumstances and then find out the best answer to fulfill all these legislative requirements, to fulfill your architectural requirements, and also to fulfill your budget and long-term planning requirements. Don't get luck in don't get locked in the software vendor's business model. This is very critical, I think one of the most important messages in this session that you need to understand as a person who is part of the IT industry, regardless what your role is. You need to start seeing things as a business, because all these vendors are there to make money. Whatever your role is, you also need to understand your own point of view. You also need to see the big picture. Remember the principle one of lean movement. See the whole. Again, not only in your own work. Try to see the whole, what is going on in the whole ecosystem that you and your organization interacts. Then you will have better chances to move the next career goal if you're a person that tries to go to the next step in the career. And without DevOps, there are typical problems that has been observed in many organizations. And these are basically, as I talked in the beginning, chronic conflict between development and operation teams, and there is a large technical debt. Technical debt is a little bit worth of talking, because I resemble technical debt to the financial debt. And if you are in a financial debt, let's say if you're a credit card debt, then, or if you have a bank credit that you can't easily pay back, etc., then you have limited options, right? Either you need to get another debt, you need to get another financing from either your family or friend, or even worse, go to another bank to get another financing, and then you have less and less options, and then so basically you will reduce your. We are talking about practical DevOps, Nikhil. Before you understand what we are talking today, you won't have much chances to succeed in DevOps. But in our context and training books that we are going to provide you, you will have more chances to understand those practical aspects. Today, I'm trying to explain you, what DevOps is in big picture, so it will guide you, it will roadmap you during the next steps while you move forward. I hope this makes sense for you. So, again, you need to avoid technical debt in your organization, because just like financial debt, technical debt causes further technical debt, and you build house of cards, on the top of additional house of cards, and then you will have less and less options. Therefore, it's quite important to be able to understand that. Yes, it will replace. I told you why. I can tell you why again if you want to OPM a little bit later. In the end, maybe, because I already answered this question. And in the end, to be able to get out from technical debt, you need to claim your debt back, and then you need to get out of this. And before you do this, your IT system will get more and more complex. And usually in the companies, your income generating businesses are centered around your most fragile, IT systems. Let's say if you are part of an organization, in many organizations, let's say the billing system, the CRM system, or online self-care, online self, or any online portals are now part of their center in their business. And therefore, there are no meetings in organizations that these, components or that these systems are part of, discussions. And therefore, again, these income generating systems, spit out a lot of, incidents, a lot of incidents and a lot of, priority one issues. And then, everything will get more and more difficult to run in your organization, because your most critical systems are the most fragile systems, and therefore it's again one of the largest typical problems in DevOps organization, non-DevOps organizations. And now what happens is, once you start breaking the promises, you and your boss giving bigger promises. It's like, imagine in your family or in a friend, etc. If you unwillingly break a promise, if you break a promise willingly, that's fine, then you forget about this, you don't care about this. But if you unwillingly break a promise, it's a human psychology to give a larger promise, right? And then it's the same that the organizations work. Again, once you are late with a project and then the business makes you pressure, guys, what is going on? You messed up all around, and then you start saying, okay, next time we will improve this and that, and then probably you can't do it again, because most of your employees are already updating CVs and looking for jobs, and they are completely demotivated, and and then you break one more promise, and then this cycle, this downward spirals, makes everything more and more difficult in your organization. And they also basically bring some arguments to sort out these problems, and such as this we have talked before, you continue to deploy and you organize your teams around your mission. So imagine now I am tying all the principles on the underlying processes that I talked beforehand. Now how DevOps uses them. pay attention, the connection between the first section and this section. You continue to deploy. Why? Because you have missions such as creating visibility, creating, feedback loops, creating, a production system which is fully up to date without accumulating your code on a staging server or in a version controlling system. And you organize your teams around your missions. Your teams are now, intelligent units to build and deliver something, to accomplish a mission, to create value for your customers. And you build systems to achieve business goals. You are not, build a project. You are not, announce a project just for the sake of, building a project. You quickly test it. You quickly, measure if this system will bring money to your organization, or if not, you get rid of it. This wasn't my original idea of thinking when I started this presentation. But what I kind of believe is in the upcoming years there will be another process which will be kind of super powered version of DevOps, which will not only bring DevOps and operations people, but also bring business people together. Because as you notice, while we are just before 2020, now there's a big tendency in the education systems, and as well as how people develop, and then all this XYZ generations and everything. People are learning technology, and in the end, I believe the boundary between technical and non-technical people will evaporate, and there will be a situation, let's say, a business person who doesn't understand how the IT work will not have any use for a company. Similarly, for an engineer who doesn't understand how the business work, his value will be less than it is today. And I kind of imagine that there will be, processes like, there won't be any more a separate business which thinks, oh, we need to build this product, and then you spend 1 year to build the product, and then total waste of money. Isn't it happening in your today's organization? Tell me if it is not happening in your organization. I am sure it's happening. This was what I just said in the last 2 minutes was the whole summary of my corporate life before I started doing my own business that I've been building. The products, the programs and certification programs and trainings offers. Just because for the sake of I want to build them. I like building them, but I built them because I need people need them. And then people basically, show interest to these products, and they move on with you, with your train, because you built the correct product with them. And you can't do this if you're a business team who doesn't understand how the IT works, who doesn't understand how the consumer ticks, right? Therefore, in a DevOps organization, you achieve systems, you build systems to create, value. And what is value? To easiest way to earn money for your organization. Once you create value, then your organization earns value, right? And then once you build a product, again, you need to ask this question: does this product create value for my customers? And you create with built-in quality and monitoring. We talked about this. Built-in quality assurance is not in the monopoly of quality assurance teams, but it's the responsibility of everyone. And you also build, monitoring. Monitoring is also very important with continuous integration. Because once you have continuous integration without monitoring, also it's also called telemetry in DevOps DevOps agenda. If you don't have telemetry or so-called monitoring, then you can't really measure what is going on, right? Your test case might be passing, but your software may be an infinite loop, right? The CPU must be 100%, or there must be gaps in your design which doesn't clean up the garbage, or uses the RAM. Let's say you do a small operation but you don't have any more RAM available in your computer, right? All these things are happening in our companies because we don't monitor our test systems. I see test automation systems like that. Someone sends an order and then gets a 200 OK from the server, test case passed. This must be a joke. I think this is a joke, right? Because you can't really measure, you can't really make a test case like that pass, right? You need to make sure the order has been processed, it has been charged, it has been documented in your database. It has been the order must be converted to the order fulfillment system, whatever it is. It could be a digital fulfillment if you are selling a digital product, or it could be a physical fulfillment. All these aspects of giving an order must be tested if you want to automate the ordering system, right? You can't be simply sending a HTTPS post request to a receiving end of a web server and then get a 200 OK and then passed. Woo! I apologize to the person who has done this, by the way. This is a real story that I just explained. Testing, ordering flow in that way, and I made them change everything. This was totally unacceptable. Anyway, you create built-in quality, and with monitoring, this is the only way to be able to have a reasonable continuous deployment. Before, if your goal is to learn Hudson, in the next after you leave this meeting, before you learn Hudson, let's make sure also how you are going to solve these questions, how you are going to ensure built-in quality, how you are going to tie your test automation platform to the rest of the world to make sure that how you can validate the real test case. Because if you ask me, I will automate the Hudson, I will compose the Hudson for you in a couple of days by myself with own scripting. This is not the priority. The priority is seeing the whole big picture, not the tools themselves. So this is the point that I've been trying to emphasize since 1 hour. And thanks to errors, you learn and teach. This is again very critical aspect. We have to be open to do mistakes, right? We don't bash our people, and similarly, we shouldn't be afraid of doing mistakes, because this is the part of the learning journey. It's kind of funny that we keep on learning until a certain age. Then after some time, we are like done people. We have all the answers. We are not allowed to do any mistakes. This is such a strange world that I see in the moment, and it's not different. All IT companies, and in the end, we basically do something, but we are not have any room to do mistakes and to learn from these mistakes. This total nonsense. DevOps organization must be open to to do mistakes, because of this quite quick feedback loops. Anyway, you get a quick feedback, you will have a chance to solve this, and then you will basically document all this mistake. Again, this is one of the most important things. You can create a value for your company. Let's say if you're a .NET developer or a Java developer, let's say you have done something today, you spend 1 day, and then tomorrow you notice that what you have done today is totally useless, and then spend 5 minutes to put a blog post somewhere in your intranet and be tagged with a .NET or whatever the keyword of the subject is, and then the next time a developer tries to do the same work, they most probably stumble your post, and then they will see your tips and tricks and ideas. DevOps is such an organization which people create value, and then also help the rest of the team to create value, open the way of the rest of the team, and they can run faster. They wouldn't stumble the same roadblocks that they come across along the way. This is such a thinking that you need to embrace once you intend to use DevOps. And as you may have noticed, none of the subjects that we discuss today about DevOps in the core of traditional Agile or Scrum methodology, but all these processes will only enable you, all these ideas and principles and underlying philosophies will enable you to make a high performer DevOps organization, which makes fun of working and which creates value for the employees and your customers, and then they will give their money to your company, and that this will come back to you as a promotion, as a pay raise, as a bonus. This is how an organization, how you as a professional can do the best for you and for your organization. And DevOps teams, by the way, scale even better. Correctly applied DevOps teams, performs far more better than peers. This orange, curve that you see is, once the number of employees increases in an organization, the average number of check-ins per employee per day even increases. Whereas in your organization, most probably you are now the purple curve, because once you hire a new employee, the overall productivity of the total team reduces, because they will waste time to educate this person, and the new joiner will not understand, what your company is supposed to do, what the problems are, and they can't easily navigate themselves in your own ecosystem. And this is the major difference between a high performer DevOps organization and a typical organization, which probably like 99% of the organizations out there. And DevOps basically brings some advantages, such as 46 times more frequent core deployments, 440 times faster lead times, 96 times faster mean time to recover from downtimes, because you avoid doing big bangs, right? Therefore, it's quite quicker to sort out issues. 5 times lower change failure rate. This means if a non-DevOps environment, let's say you make 100 check-ins and then if 80 of them fail in a DevOps organization, the fail rate is 5 times lower. So, you can from 80% fail rate you can come to 16% fail rate, even for a very bad organization which is like 80% check-in fail rate. I think this is almost the average rate, by the way. 80% of check-ins usually fails anyway in a typical standard organization, and then you dramatically reduce the number of failures in your production because you do small check-ins. You can have them under your control. And improved productivity, improved code and operational reliability, improved organizational performance, client and employee satisfaction, and improved market penetration, market share, and profitability of organization, and improved market capitalization growth. And yes, the video will be available, Daniel, as a blog post. I'm planning to publish it on somehow early next week. You will get an email about this. And how you get started DevOps. There are some key points that you should keep in mind. So you avoid big bang to begin with, and you start small. Don't try to change the world in one go, because nobody will accept this. And demonstrate quick and early wins. It's quite critical. Select some piece of a small project and then try to mimic some major concepts that you have learned today, and then demonstrate quick wins, and people then start admiring this, and then you will slowly get more attention. But don't say people that they are doing crap work even though they must be doing already. So but try to implement quick and early wins, and avoid big bangs and start small. And these are very two important tips. And identify an important and appropriate greenfield or brownfield product or service. So what I mean with greenfield or brownfield is greenfield product or service is a product or service which does not exist yet. So you are going to build it. And whereas brownfield is somehow a product which is existing for X number of years. It somehow needs to be maintained with change requests and feature addendums and everything. And in my opinion, the most reliable way for an organization, especially for a very political complex corporations, greenfield projects are more ideal to get started, because there is no risk to break something which is available. In case you don't have a greenfield project chance in your organizations, like many organizations are also like that, they have new projects, but usually they are not totally new, they are just addendum, which is fully connected to what is available in their organization. You can hardly tell them a greenfield project, they are still brownfield project. And for this sort of projects, you have two options. You can choose records of systems, or system of records, or system of engagement. And what this means. System of records means the systems which interacts with other data platforms, such as a data API. Let's say you charge your customer, or you create a customer, or you create a ticket. You create data related to this customer, right? Anything that has to do with real-time data is system of records. And system of engagement means they are basically kind of the showcases, kind of your spotlight, kind of your web portal, or kind of a web portal which uses no to very minimal data that doesn't have any business criticality for your platform. And this showcase systems also, which is called system of engagements, can be used also for a very politically complex organizations, again to impact the risk of failure. Or even though you may fail, or even though there may be complications, which there will be, by the way, then you will have more chances to recover it, or the impact will be less visible and less impactful and easier to fix. Whereas if you go with system of data, system of records, if you build a system which messes up your database, then you're in big trouble. Which charts your customer wrongly, then you're in big trouble, right? And therefore if you're a startup, or if you are a mid-sized company with a set of people which are open-minded and learn about DevOps and try to experiment this, then I would suggest a greenfield project. So greenfield or brownfield, doesn't matter. Choose a system of records, because give it a go. But in case you're in a very complex and corporate environment, choose a brownfield project, but still go with a system of engagement to make sure that you are not going to impact or break something in your IT infrastructure. And DevOps is obviously not only for small organizations, it's for large organizations too. And the best example is companies such as Google or Amazon or Facebook or Netflix or Spotify or Etsy. SAP in Germany and numerous other companies are now using DevOps. And this company, if you see that a process trend more emerges in this scale companies, then this will come to all other organizations as well. And this is the one of the major indicators. In few years, most of the companies will be using DevOps because it is being already used by the top layer companies, and then it will come down like happened with Scrum, or years before, like it happened with extreme programming. Now the next wave is DevOps, and this is why for you as a IT professional, or to be IT professional if you are not IT professional yet, why it's very critical for you to jump on this DevOps wave as quick as you can and develop yourself with the know-how that we are sharing today. And DevOps is basically here with the DevOps, the idea is that there is a problem with matrix organization that I should mention maybe for a few seconds. Matrix organizations, you have silos such as this is a developer silo, this is a tester silo, this is a DBA silo. And now what happens is, once you have a project, once you need to build a project, then you pick up one person from development team, one person from test team, one person from security expert, one person from DBA, but these are not your part-time project members, right? They serve your tickets and then they move on the next work. They don't care about product, they don't care about vision, they don't care where the company is going, right? This is how most of our companies are constructed today. People don't give much attention to creating value, end-to-end value, and therefore matrix organizations are very well known as also illusions of cost optimization. They pretend to create cost optimization, but in then, just because the lack of efficiency, the magnitude of waste, and also the context which the people should cause, and they don't care about quality, and therefore matrix organizations is probably the worst thing that the organizations has seen so far, and unfortunately this is in the DNA of organizations, just because of illusion of cost optimization. And if there is any world-class illusion like that, then it's not so easy to change, right? People will stick to this illusion until as long as they live. And therefore, here I'm not going to deep dive about this illusion quite a lot, but you can read about it quite a lot, why matrix organization is the worst thing that have been implemented by business people. So it's totally, waste of time, money, and it only causes of illusion of cost optimization. And this is what matrix organization is. And how DevOps solves is, again, I told you in the very beginning, you build your teams around your mission. A team of people that bring all skills to be able to deliver your product. Let's say developer, tester, security expert, DBA, network expert, or project manager, product owner, business expert. All these people come together and they end-to-end build your project until it goes live, and they cover the full life cycle. And here one question you may have may be, okay, ideally DevOps states that, or this is by the way not a stained rule, because this is one of the reasons why Scrum is failing quite a lot, because Scrum has very rigid rules, such as your team must be 5 to 9 people, everyone must be flat. This is nonsense. I consulted Scrum teams, and the way, the easiest way to fix them was assigning a manager to them, because flat organization is not designed for human beings. People will silently beg to be led. People need leaders. Otherwise, people, don't come to their utmost productivity levels. People and human beings, psychologically need someone to follow. And therefore, if you build this flat organization with 9 developers that call themselves, self-responsible, then you are doomed to fail with this team. They are not going to fulfill their duty because they don't have a leader. And again, don't stick to the dogmas in the processes as well. Here, DevOps, ideally, the most important, most frequent use practices says, DevOps teams must be around 5 to 10 people. But you may have a DevOps team for 20 people if you want to, right? You can test it, and then if it doesn't work, then you can spin out another team. But built in, some teams must be, or some projects or some products, let's don't call it project anymore, let's call it product. Some product, must require, tens of people to deliver it. Let's say, let's talk about a complex project. Let's talk about, Google's, AdWords platform. This is the Google's main, money-making platform, right? Let's say, I'm sure they use, hundreds of people to build this product, but let's say, 50 people is responsible to build DevOps, right? And 50 people is a little bit a large number, to work, all together in collaboration. And then what they do is they spin out different teams. Let's say one team who is responsible for designing GUI, another team who is responsible to design integration with search engine, another team who is responsible for the payment API, another team who is responsible for ad optimization, another team who is responsible for review and compliance and everything, etc. And now you orchestrate these teams around this mission, and each team basically is responsible. Let's say if your only responsibility is building the API which integrates Google search engine to Google AdWords platform, then you care about this API, and then you work with the rest of the teams over there to make sure that the big mission of your organization is fulfilled in the correct way. And again, as I said, if a team is larger than 10, it's usually a good idea to look for opportunities and then basically to recover your teams in a way that they can come up with a solution that they can build their own piece, and then you build a big picture in that. And here you can imagine a large maybe a circle and other circles which are part of this team, and each team is constructed with a mission, and then you spin out different teams either oriented on products, services and microservice APIs, but we don't call this projects anymore, because projects are usually people come from different pieces and then they leave once the project is done. But once your organization embraces the product culture, once they embrace the culture of shipping the best quality products, and people love these products, and people work to deliver the great quality products to create value for their customers, then the money that your company is going to earn will help also everyone else in your organization as well. And again, this is the architectural way of seeing the things. The left hand side is the tightly coupled and right hand side is loosely coupled. The left hand side is also resembled a spaghetti architecture. We used to call, while I was a computer engineering student, we used to call spaghetti code. I haven't used and heard this spaghetti code concept since years, although everywhere is now spaghetti code, but people nowadays even don't talk about the spaghetti code. It's almost industry no to the spaghetti code, but now we are talking about spaghetti architectures. Again, the solution is, again, as I mentioned, if you spin out 5 different teams with 10 people, make sure that the integration points between different pieces are correctly managed, and you avoid having a tightly coupled architecture like you see on the right hand side of the screen, because this won't make your life any easier. And you should have you should build a team of full stack generalist software engineers, and your team must be eager to learn and grow regardless their effective level of know-how and experience. They must keep their open mind to grow, and you should strictly avoid people who expect to be evaluated in a fixed set of roles and responsibilities. You should hire people, you should come together with people with the growth mindset. And again, if you are planning to initiate a DevOps agenda in your organization, don't pick your best friend to come with you. Pick up the best open-minded people who are also have the ability to influence the rest of the organization, who are also eager to learn, who are also aware of the problems in your organization. And correct people on board will help you to implement your DevOps agenda as well. And how do you become a DevOps expert, having said all of this? First of all, act like a DevOps expert and think, work and live in a way that your team members wish they could live. This is because don't expect anyone to see you a DevOps professional, DevOps expert. You need to develop yourself, build your skills, and then act like one, and then people will follow you. And maintain absolute certainty. This doesn't mean that be a stubborn person who doesn't learn, who gives all the answers. Don't strictly avoid becoming a static person with a static know-how and mindset. Maintain absolute certainty, but still keep your open-mindedness. Be aware that you may have mistakes, and be okay to admit them as well. Then people around you will be also start admitting this. If you say, oh no, I'm working in a corporate environment, people don't like this, then most probably, if you say this, then most probably you are working in a wrong type of company. Then you should also update your own CV. And then rule number 3, don't be boring. Be someone who invents new and unique ideas all the time. Celebrate success and as well as celebrate lessons learned. And understand what people need. People will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, take away their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. Again, understand what people in your team, expects working together with you, and then behave them accordingly. You can't present one single truth for everyone. You should be able to understand what kind of relationship people expect from you. Some people might want to have a relationship with you just because they are looking for a promotion, or they want to learn from you, or they like your company, or they want your working style, or they want to guide you, they want to assist you. You need to understand what people need from you. This is very important to be able to become an expert. And you need to care a lot. It doesn't mean you will get back after you give something, after you care them. They may not pay any attention to you. That's totally fine. But the only way to get what you want in business, in DevOps as well, to care a lot, to do your best. And then sometimes later this will come to you back. Some people call this karma, but I call this how the nature works. It's somehow once you give, then somehow you will start getting back. This is how the nature functions. And rule number 6, offer your team members value from their perceived relationship with you. So this is the point that I just said before. People expect different things from you. Some people, again, if you're a manager or leader, some people like your company, some people want to build a relationship because they expect that you say good things about them, but as soon as you leave your job, they don't care about you. Anything can happen. Be prepared for all of this. But if you want to get the best out of people, if you want people to support you on your own business and professional journey, and there is not exception, understand what they want from you and try to give them what they are looking forward from you. And again, it's your moral obligation, if you believe in your mission as a software professional, regardless you're a tech person or non-tech person, then you have a moral obligation to improve in every way possible you and your team perform. And I want to also complement this. You and your team serve for your clients, serve for your employer. Again, the easiest way to earn money for you and for your company is to create value, and this is your moral obligation to do your best to create value for your own and for your organization. And now I'm in the end of the technical presentation part. I will now come to the offer part of the presentation. I will spend about 10 minutes, and then we will be doing exclusive questions and answers if there will be any questions remaining. So first of all, congratulations on participating in this live class, but we are not finished yet. By joining this live class, you made a smart choice, and you are now one of the rare people in IT industry who know what DevOps is and how it can help you in your career and your organization in its IT and business. And you joined this live class because you wanted to skyrocket your career with your skills in DevOps, and that's precisely what DevOps software delivery and development process is going to do for you. I explained everything about DevOps that I could do in 1 hour to give you all the the base background, to get you started and to make your mindset, to make you believe that DevOps is the process that wasn't available in the industry so far, and this is something that could sort out a lot of problems, to create efficiency, to reduce waste, to create employee morale, and to create really value for you and for your company, for your clients and for your employers, and which in the end get back as a value to you, either as a promotion, either as a pay raise, or title or bonus, whatever you call it, however you get it in your organization. And DevOps is one of the most popularly becoming ways of getting things done in IT industry. This is why you need to pay attention of this, and this all these arguments are what is kind of an explanation why DevOps is going to replace Scrum in few years. And on top of all the problems that I mentioned, all the continuous delivery problems that has been caused by the Scrum and typical Agile frameworks, because you accumulated the code, didn't deploy them, and then you still did the big bangs, and you broke all the IT environment and everything. With DevOps you avoid all these troubles that you will have in typical Agile frameworks. And this is why DevOps is coming very strong, and DevOps is now already used by major IT companies that I just named before, and this is why it will come to every other company as well. So now let me ask you a question. How would you like to become a credible DevOps expert faster than ever without stress? How would you like to get industry-leading training and official DevOps certification programs which will quickly make you a credible expert in DevOps software development and delivery process? You are probably thinking you need to pay a lot or even find a loan to learn DevOps, right? Well, actually, I will show you why this is fully untrue and how our official DevOps certification programs help people ascend their careers and build great IT systems for their employers and clients. And DevOps professionals collect rewards in their careers. There is no single day we don't receive emails that people announce their promotions or new titles or new jobs that they found, because even some things, some key points that you learned in the session will help you in your next job interview, will help you when you talk to your boss, will help you when you talk to your colleagues, and you will automatically start collecting rewards even after this 1 hour session. But because you are now one of the rare professionals in IT industry who really knows what DevOps is, but we are not fully done yet, and you can be really one of these DevOps professionals that we trained and certified who continuously collect rewards in their careers. And my question to you is, why don't you become one of these successful individuals? Why don't you become one of these successful DevOps professionals who competently shape the way yourself and your organization operate? And I would suggest you to take a moment to imagine what will be different in your life if you learn and digest DevOps very well and help your employers and clients with DevOps. What professional possibilities would open up for you, for your career and for your organization? How would you like to be different from the rest of the crowd? And now I will spend a few more minutes to give a very special offer that we prepared for this for the participants of this live class today. So this offer is not for everyone. We are only making this offer available here to you because you proved you're an action taker when you took advantage of this live class. So I'm going to make you a special one-time offer that's only available right here, right now. Can you imagine how your career will be like as an officially certified DevOps professional? What I'm going to share with you right now will help you become a credible DevOps expert faster than ever without stress. And you must be familiar with some of our programs, but let me give the breakdown to you. So we offer DevOps Certified DevOps Generalist program, Certified DevOps Developer, Certified DevOps Product Manager, Certified DevOps Project Manager, Certified DevOps Architect, Certified DevOps Generalist, Certified DevOps Executive, Certified DevOps Operations Engineer, Certified DevOps Quality Assurance or so-called Test Engineer, Certified DevOps Information Security Engineer, Certified DevOps Coach, Certified DevOps Trainer, and Certified DevOps Information Security Engineer. One of them I can't see on my screen. Great. So these are the programs that we are going to offer, and the process is quite easy and quick to go. And the overall process, I think you must be familiar with our Scrum certification programs or DevOps programs or other Six Sigma programs. Maybe if you are familiar how we work, our process is quite easy, non-bureaucratic, quite hassle-free. This process, these 4 steps, by the way, the simplicity is, by the way, what made us a famous company in the world today. And these 4 steps are like that. Register online for your official DevOps certification program. Register to, we send your exam access code instantly online after your registration. No waiting, no queue, nothing. Step number 3, take your online test anytime, anywhere you want and answer your multiple choice questions. No training centers, no exam centers. You can do it at coffee shop, at your home, at your office, in the train, with your iPhone, with your computer, wherever you want. You are totally flexible and get your lifetime and worldwide valid official DevOps certification as soon as you finish your exam. Again, no waiting time, nothing. You get it as quick as you can once you finish your exam. And do you want to get official DevOps certifications which are official? Do you want to get official certifications which are worldwide valid, industry recognized and approved by all employers? Do you want to get DevOps certifications which have world's most affordable fees? Do you want to get DevOps certifications which are lifetime valid without self-serving recurring renewals and subscription fees? Do you want to get DevOps certifications which are really fully online and require no mandatory classrooms? And do you want to get DevOps certifications which provide world-class student support, literally praised by all of our students? And do you want to get DevOps certifications which have 100% money-back guarantee and exam pass guarantee? And our offer for you today is our one-time special offer for you, the best discount for your 5 official DevOps certifications. And with this best discount for your 5 official DevOps certifications, 5 DevOps certifications of your own choice will cost you all inclusive $497. And so you immediately save hundreds of dollars. No hidden fees ever. Register today before the best discount page goes offline, and we take the page offline tomorrow. The link to access this offer is devops-certification.org/best, all small letters. Again, here the idea is you choose basically your own package. You choose 5 of these programs based on where you're in your career and where you want to go. And basically, once you choose this 5 program, you will, normally if you buy this, 5 programs with retail prices, you will be paying like, somewhere between $800 to $1,000. But now with this deal that we are offering to the participants of today's webinar, you are going to get these 5 programs for only less than $500, which is $497. And if you register now, you will also receive your DevOps video training for free. Normally the retail value of this material is close to $500, but now this bonus is part of our packet if you buy 5 programs and plus, and you will also get lifetime access to your DevOps training portal. Total value is like $200 again for free, and you will also get full feature updates and everything. We will inform you all the changes. If you are curious about the tools, which type of tools we recommend, we tested, we tried, some of them are also on the visible. I think the screenshot in the middle of the screen answer all these questions in detail, different kind of tools that are constructed for different kind of areas that you will need in your DevOps initiative. And one of the great the bonuses that we are providing is in the Inner Circle membership for lifetime, and it's again for free if you join our 5 DevOps programs for only $497. And what Inner Circle is, Inner Circle enables you to join our monthly live conferences. In these live conferences, you get lifetime free consultancy about DevOps, Scrum, Agile, project management, program management, anything also about you personally, about your career, about the ideas that you want to discuss. If you need a second opinion, I'll be also happy, to provide you guidance. And of course, in such a session, we may not be able to cover all questions in 1 hour. And if this is the case, then we are going to cover the questions with my team in the background, and we come back to you with an answer as quick as we can. And normally there is even no way to purchase this Inner Circle lifetime membership for money, because we don't sell this. We only announce 1 session at a time for a very reduced group of people, because we also don't want to have a lot of people in one call. And then we sell 1 session for only about $200, for $199. But now you have a chance to have the lifetime Inner Circle membership. We announce the calls for every month, and then you join whenever you want, and again you get the benefit belonging to this Inner Circle group. So you get support either directly from me or from the people who work together with me. And you will also receive your DevOps Revealed book. Most probably you're already familiar. So this book, we spent a lot of time and investment to write the best book. This is not a theoretical book to explain DevOps. This is basically totally practical book. Again, kind of a very large summary, very large explanation of what we just covered today, plus a lot of things, kind of release management, the security aspects, the telemetry in detail about the version controlling and different release mechanisms, and test automation aspects, and the other strategies, how you can deploy, by reducing the risks, increasing the productivity, and all these details are also covered as part of this book. If you are not familiar about this book, you anyway, can download it for free of charge, but it's also, included in our, DevOps package that we are giving today, 5 programs for only $497. And this official DevOps training and official DevOps certification programs are available on our portal for higher prices. But right now you have this one chance. For only $497, you get 5 official DevOps certifications of your own choice, and you immediately save hundreds of dollars. Plus you get 4 bonuses, which are approximately $1,000, $946 for free. And this one-time offer is only available right now, right here, and we'll take the offer page offline tomorrow, and it's then gone. Therefore, I strongly urge you to take action as quick as you can. Don't miss this your chance to become a credible DevOps professional faster than ever without stress. The link is devops-certification.org/best. And here is the summary. And again, lifetime valid 5 official DevOps certifications, retail value is close to 1,000, and plus lifetime membership of Inner Circle. There is even no value for the lifetime membership, and monthly only costs $199, and you will have the chance to become a lifetime member of the Inner Circle. And then bonus number 2, free bonus number 2, lifetime access to DevOps videos and trainings and all feature updates. And we'll keep on publishing videos forever, because this is also part of our agenda to serve the DevOps community. We keep on capturing videos forever. They won't be ever finished, and you will have free of charge access to all these videos. Soon we'll put them on a locked-in page where not everyone can access these videos, and therefore don't miss this chance to grab these videos already. And then the bonus number 3 is lifetime access to DevOps training portal, and plus all feature updates. Again, this web portal you can access today free of charge. Soon they will be also locked in somewhere, and again, as part of the 5 DevOps certification program, you will be again getting free access to these programs as well. And then bonus number 4, you will have DevOps release book and all feature updates. Retail value is like $49, and the total package costs like $1,991, and you will get all of this for not $1,991, but you will have all this package for only $497. And to get started, the link is www.devops-certification.org/best. And basically, we also offer 100% money back guarantee. We are going to take all the risk from you, and we get 100% of your money back guarantee. And if you aren't satisfied, you will not feel alright keeping your money. So we make it quite easy for you to make a refund. Just to be clear, there are absolutely no strings attached, no forms to fill out, nothing to prove. We promise we won't ask any questions, and you will get your money. So you just send me or someone from my team an email. You can also contact from our page or a contact us form. Just give us your ID, and that's just tell us you want to get your money, because the program doesn't perform a miracle on your career, doesn't give the promises that we are talking about DevOps today, and then we don't see ourselves the right to keep your money, and then we will give the full 100% refund. Therefore, there is no risk if you start with your DevOps program today. And we are going to give you everything you need to be successful and avoid mistakes on your own exciting DevOps journey, to get locked with a software vendor, or to start on a wrong place and you lose a lot of time without learning and losing a lot of money. I talked about the locked-in business model of software providers. Also certification providers does this as well. This is what Scrum Alliance does, what Scrum.org does, what PMI does. Once you have their programs, you need to renew them, right? Because they want to lock you in. All this PDU model. You need to collect the PDUs, and then you need to collect these points to be able to keep your certification active. Such a nonsense. Why is this, right? The idea is to get your money. Certification industry is also works with locked-in business model, except International DevOps Academy, International Scrum Institute, and all of our certifications are worldwide recognized and reliable. Check out the testimonials on our homepage. Check out the list of companies. They are like worldwide, very well known in all continents, and therefore you are completely in a good company, which doesn't also keep you in a locked-in business model like all other certification providers do. So you need to be careful with locked-in business model, not only in IT, not only in software, not only in certification, but in everywhere. We are surrounded with locked-in business model. So you need to be quite careful when you purchase a product. Don't get part of a locked-in business model of the vendor that you are purchasing. So for the ones who want to check our credentials, I am going to give you some examples of our credentials, and then basically on our webpage you will be also see the link. And then over there, you will see all of our credentials and all of the companies who work with us. Then you will understand, how well we penetrated to the world and how well we serve to the rest of the industry. So here, again, don't just take our word for it. Again, browse our webpage and take a look what the others are saying. So here is the feedback from Greg Bayerlein. So Greg basically made I think all of our programs, including Scrum and DevOps, and he basically, gave me this feedback. It's a very honest and direct feedback. You can connect to Greg directly if you want to. And Greg said, I've spent much of my career as a supervisor, manager, and leader. While many of my credentials are focused on management, Lean, and Scrum, along with IT, not many of them have focused on DevOps. I want to take DevOps skills to my toolset so that I can ensure that I am not just doing what seems logical, but it's based on research. The DevOps certifications, materials, and exam provided me the opportunity to learn DevOps on a budget that I could afford. Another feedback from Damilare. When I looked at the contents of the material of DevOps, the Certified DevOps Developer Program, I couldn't resist the opportunity to earn a wonderful certification from the International DevOps Academy. The case studies in the DevOps Revealed book were an eye-opener, and the delivery of each topic in the book was fantastic. Another feedback from Sai. My DevOps certifications from DevOps Academy expanded my perspective and my strength in IT industry, both professionally and intellectually. The DevOps contents used in your programs are easily applied in the real world. Thank you very much for being such a great education provider. And another feedback from Philip. My certified DevOps coach certification was extremely important for my promotion to a new and improved job title in Global TI. Due to the certification program from DevOps Academy, I was able to get new role in the organization. With all the learnings of DevOps, I got more efficient at coaching, at understanding DevOps training strategies that can take companies to the new level. Thanks to DevOps Academy, I am more proficient to get the job done. Another feedback from Pedro. After getting my DevOps certification in product ownership from DevOps Academy, my career received a very important boost inside and outside my company. Now I receive more important job offers for better positions, and my DevOps certification makes me eligible inside my company to participate in strategically more significant projects. These are all benefits that we are looking for. And the next one is Daniel. I found the process leading up to my DevOps certification very well designed and student friendly. I can't think any better alternative than how International DevOps Academy helps its students. I am already taking the benefits and opportunities my DevOps Release Manager grants me. Very well done, and keep up the great work. So, from another feedback from Teresa. Great training, easy to understand, the best education provider I have seen so far. So from Teresa Bornes. You see, all these, programs have been doing great impact in the industry. People, get, either better recognition in their job or promotion, pay raises, finding another jobs. For confidentiality reasons, we are not able to publish everything, but we receive a lot of, emails, people, get a lot of, job offers, or, just because they publish something in social media, they sometimes also get attention for, hiring managers, By the way, in our company, for some people were asking, about, industry validation and credibility. Again, in our page, you can see the list of companies that we have been working together. And this we no longer even update because these are quite very long pages. If you print, probably they are like 60-70 pages, and there are numerous testimonials. We also don't update them. You can check them if you still need more credentials about us. But again, I want to also show you some credentials from social media. These are just by coincidence. I collected from internet. I'm not really seeking for them. Just searching for them by coincidence. People basically promote themselves with these programs quite often in internet, and they get probably tens of likes and a lot of comments, a lot of congratulations, just because they publish them on LinkedIn, because this certification programs resonate very well on internet. Look at tons of comments, tons of likes, because these programs really accelerate people's careers, and then they get best out of being part of this great DevOps team together with us. And you see there are I think 50-60 comments and likes. People really enjoy being part of this community, and I really suggest you don't waste your time thinking about how you should get started with DevOps, because we offer you everything, and we will be basically providing these programs for free of charge for you, because our idea is to make sure that you understand the concept. We give you, of course, the time to make up your mind. You can join us maybe 1 year later, 2 years later, I don't mind. But if you don't want to miss this offer that we we are providing today, 5 certifications for only 497, all these bonuses and all this, consultancy that will come from myself and from my team, I really suggest you to take action as soon as you can. By the way, here, this is the last like on the social media intro. I think this is my picture. Okay, I also like this one. Yes, this was Wafi Mostep. He's also one of our students, and I really, when I saw this social media entry, I really also felt proud for Wafi because he made so big attention on himself personally, and I really was proud for him. And now you have got two choices. Having told so much about DevOps today, your choice one is do nothing, and if you do nothing with the information you have learned, or the last one, what will you get? Obviously, nothing. For most people, you will forget, and then some year later you will get started. But you also have a choice too, which is like taking action now and continue learning and see how great DevOps software delivery skills will empower your career. The question is not if they empower your career. The question is only how they will empower your career. As far as we observe in the industry, as I said, there are problems with Scrum and Agile which wasn't resolved with typical delivery models that these processes are bringing to the industry, and DevOps are addressing all of them. And this is why DevOps has been already adopted by Google, Amazon, Facebook and Netflix and numerous number of other very large Fortune 500 companies. And I really suggest you pay attention to the DevOps subject, develop yourself, because the know-how, even the know-how that I shared with you today, will boost you a lot in your career. But if you get further, if you get all the certifications, and if you also get training, and you will also have great chances, and you will basically enjoy quite a lot what you see. So normally I apologize, we a little bit stretched, like 12 minutes than the time I planned, but I still stay on the call as long as you have some questions. You ladies and gentlemen are talking among each other while I keep on my presentation. That's also great. So you also keep each other engaged as well as I try to do this. That's really nice. I really enjoyed this one as well. But I am happy to stay on the call to cover any questions. I'm now scrolling on the chat messages that I missed in case there's something that I didn't cover yet. There are thank you messages. That's really perfect to hear this, from Jagadish. Thank you to Jagadish. Thank you to Pritesh. Thank you to Sravan. Thank you to Robert. Thank you to Mehri. Thank you to Georgi. I apologize if I pronounced your name wrongly. Thank you, Sravan. Thank you very much, Magdalena. Thank you, Braja. Thank you, Trezor. And thank you, Sagar. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you, OPME. Okay, no questions this moment. Thank you again for the amazing session. Thank you to Pritesh. Thank you, Anil, too. Trezor is asking Scrum and DevOps. Okay, I will tell you. I will give you your answer once more, Trezor. And Shankar, thanks for the session. It's definitely an eye-opener for DevOps. Thank you very much, Shankar. I really hope that it impacted you. And thank you to Robert. One question about pricing of DevOps generalist. On our homepage, on the right-hand corner, you must see the register button. If you go to this register button, then you will see the registration page, and over there you will see the prices, the retail price of each certification. If you want to purchase only one certification and miss the offer, 5 certification offer that we are going today, but still you can purchase 1 or 2. If you want to, if you don't have a budget to cover 497, you can also feel free to go to the register link and register any certifications if you want to. And the DevOps Generalist certification, I think, costs $99. You can also see the price on the registration page. And Trezor's question: what is the difference between Scrum and DevOps? They are not comparable, Trezor. This is the whole point that I've been explaining, because Scrum theory, doesn't focus as much on how it has been constructed. Scrum basically, focuses more on the rituals. Let's do this sprint planning meeting. let's do a sprint review meeting, let's do a retrospective meeting, and then make sure you build a shippable product in the end of each sprint. But Scrum doesn't force you to put this in production system. And then what happens is usually deployment is not an easy thing, right? Build development is maybe easy, but deployment is not as easy as development. And then teams start accumulating the code in a corner, either in the staging server on a code version controlling system, and then they do a big bang, and then they crash the environment, and then all around a mess. And DevOps is basically solving all these problems. And they also how DevOps solve this problem, all these principles, underlying philosophies and principles that I've been covering since the beginning of these lessons. The first thing about DevOps is you need to understand this one, and then you need to understand how you build the continuous flow and the pipeline. We haven't talked about pipeline or flow today, because these are quite deep dived subject in the DevOps itself. In all the training content we are providing, you will see what DevOps pipeline is, how you will build this, how you will enable continuous delivery, and how you will build continuous test automation and everything all around us. And these are will be part of your DevOps agenda. But in terms of one of the major difference about DevOps, what I can also tell you is DevOps doesn't tell you that you should have a team like between 5 to 9 people. If I remember correctly, Scrum says your team must be like 7 minus plus 2, right? But why? Why not 15? Why not 3? Let's say I like working in a very small teams, very with 2 people, very like-minded, fast and hard workers like myself, and then get things done in 2 weeks where the other people do in 1 year. Like this is my working style, and your organization might have a different working style, and this is completely up to you. You build your own way of working. This is what DevOps enables you. DevOps makes you brings you open-mindedness, where doesn't teach you about open-mindedness, and then they bury you under dogmas, under this is how your team should be constructed. You should do this meeting, do that meeting. No, you can't do a sprint review meeting before sprint review meeting, before sprint retrospective meeting. All these things which doesn't add any added value, right? Because in the end we are human. Organizations are also organic entities that are quite developed naturally. There is no one size fits all answer, and Scrum tried to answer the questions in a way that one size fits all, which is not all the times true. And DevOps is now teaching people to be more like learners, more open-minded, and find your own way. Embrace the philosophy, embrace the culture of creating value. And what will happen when you create value? You will get value back, either in terms of money or other value. And these are the things in the DNA of DevOps, which are not part of the Scrum. So I tried to answer your question, because it's a very frankly speaking, it's a difficult question to tell the answer of difference between Scrum and DevOps, because they are not comparable. They are working for the same audience. Again, both of them are IT process, but they are not fully comparable. Although they have a large set of adjacent parts in their own codes, they are not fully comparable. But our content, all the book and all the material that we are going to offer you will help you to understand all of this, hopefully. And thanks a lot for your explanation. Thank you very much, Trezor. I'm happy that the answer covered your requirement. Okay, I've been sitting like 2 hours. I'm not sitting so long all the time. Great. Any questions remaining? As I said, I can still stay on the call if there are any remaining questions. Otherwise, I'm going to close the call. OPM said, I'm in the process of registering now. I wish I could get the rest, but I don't have the means. Hopefully, you will have the means in the future, OPME, and we will be happy to support you, OPME. Thank you to Magdalena. I am happy that you enjoyed. Yes, they use Ray. You can use. It's not mandatory, but you use the rituals. Thanks, Magdalena. Greetings from near Zurich. We are not far away. Great. Then it looks like there are no questions left. I am closing the call today. I wish all of you a great day. And I'm closing the call now. If I can find the close button, then okay. Have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.